有一家公司，它的产品呢，在家电领域价格不菲，却能创造出每5秒钟就卖出一台的奇迹。在英国，每3个家庭就有1个在使用它的产品。而在中国，这家英国公司受益于中国中产阶级的崛起、消费升级的红利，凭借它个性、跳脱和高品质的产品，撬开了中国消费者的钱包。它就是英国的戴森公司。与戴森大胆突破的这种产品形象设计成鲜明反差的是它沉着和稳健的经营模式。创业30年，仍旧由创始人 James Dyson100%控制。他不关心商业，从来不融资，只醉心于产品和技术的创新。这在今天的商业环境当中，尤其是数字经济蓬勃发展的中国，几乎是不可想象的事儿。就在上个月 ，James Dyson 又将他远航的舰队瞄准了新的方向——造车。古稀之年的他究竟会带领这家公司走向何方呢？前几天在上海，我有幸与 James Dyson 爵士独处了1个下午，听他对我讲述戴森背后的故事。我们所在的上海 Dyson 技术实验室是 Dyson 在华设立的首个实验室，这也是他第一次对外开放。Dyson 技术实验室于今年5月份正式揭幕，专门针对中国数字生态圈及环境进行智联技术的本土化、精调软件和优化算法。Very happy to have you here.
Well, thank you for
Well,
coming.
actually, it's your pleasure. But anyway, I've been looking forward to this conversation for quite a while now. I believe we're going to have a good one.
Good,
Okay.
that's great. So where do we go?
Yeah. Well, good afternoon, sir. I'm very happy to have you with us this afternoon, and I've been looking forward to this interview for quite some time now. Like many of my friends, I've been a long-time Dyson customer, and now Dyson has become a global premium brand. I can see that your product carries a very strong character that stands out instantly from everybody else. But this leads to my very first question. Is this the company that you have envisioned 20 years ago? And what is the design philosophy behind all those products, especially from your very first vacuum cleaner to this wide range of products today?
Well, I suppose the important thing is that I'm an engineer and a designer, and for me, my interest is in developing new technology and making a really interesting product that performs better and that is well designed. And I mean design in a holistic sense, not just how it looks, but how it feels to use it, how long it lasts, the materials it uses, and so on. And so from the beginning, I wanted, almost irrespective of the cost of the product, to create a really wonderful product that did things better. So that's the starting philosophy. And in fact, my first 4 employees were all engineers, and they were all graduate engineers, undergraduates. This is their first job.
Yeah.
And that's still a big principle of mine, that everybody we take into engineering is in fact an undergraduate. And now we're even taking in school children.
Oh.
And we have a university at Dyson.
Okay.
Because I really believe that if you want to do things differently and do them better, you want to have young people doing it, people who haven't done anything else before. So they have
the ingenuity, right?
Yes, they're very ingenious. They want to do something different. They're young and they're new, and they want to change. I wouldn't say change the world, but they want to make a real difference. They want to make an impact. And I like their naive approach, because experience is a problem. Experience can block innovation. It can block doing things differently. So what I love about young people is that they don't have that. So an innocent, naive suggestion is a much better suggestion than something an experienced person might say.
That is the incredibly long research and development cycle that I have invested into your products. Like it took you years to develop a first vacuum cleaner, and even 18 years for the 360i robots, right? And to many people, it doesn't make any sense from a business perspective, but to you, that may be normal or must to do, something must to do. What is the drive and passion behind this?
Well,
Have you ever found that worthwhile? I mean,
well, you said a very interesting thing. It doesn't make any sense from a business perspective.
That's right.
I'm not really interested in what's right from a business perspective.
Okay, that explains.
Because there are other businesses that are very good businesses that copy products or find out what's selling well and make a product like that. I'm not interested in that at all. I have a wholly different perspective that if all you're interested in is being passionate about some technology and doing a different product that does something better, performs better, or is more fun to use, or doesn't cause so much damage, or uses fewer materials, if that's your motivation and you do it really well, then I believe success follows. So it's not a business plan, it's a mad business plan. It's a bad business plan to spend 18 years developing something. But it's what we want to do, it's what I want to do, and it's what we want to do. And it really doesn't worry me that. I mean, in electric motors, for example, this is a conventional, well actually it's a state-of-the-art hairdryer motor with a big sort of crude fan and an old-fashioned motor with carbon brushes. So that's what was invented 200 years ago, and it's still being used today. So this is our equivalent, which is more powerful than this thing. And it's tiny, it's light, but it took us 20 years to develop it. And all the time we were developing these motors, we had some outside directors on the board, and they were saying, what on earth are you doing spending all that money developing electric motors? You're spending it year after year, you haven't produced a motor, why are you wasting so much money? And I said, because one day we will have a world beater, which will make a huge difference. So I'm going to go on wasting the money. I don't think it is wasting the money.
Well, in the first place, you have the money to waste, right?
Yes, you have to earn the money to waste. But the other thing is that a new technology, electric motor, or almost anything that is breakthrough new technology, requires a huge amount of money to put it into production.
Yeah, actually, this is a fantastic example because people are so getting used to something like this in our life. It's because it's everywhere, and people even forgot to do something innovative about it.
Yes.
And that's why we need people. I mean, the world needs companies like Dyson to find out these places that people are already forgotten and to bring real innovations to people's life. I think that's
what this means is that you can put the motor in the handle, as you see it here.
That's right, yeah.
And if you put the only thing that weighs anything in the handle, you're holding it. You've got it's not top heavy. And not only is it lighter anyway, but you're not putting it up there where it causes, this thing mounted up there is a heavy thing to hold, and it has a great leverage. So it makes it a very light and easy hairdryer to use. And of course, there's lots of other things we incorporated in the hairdryer. That wasn't the only idea, but we had lots of other ideas, which is true pretty well of everything we develop. We start off with one good piece of technology and then build on it during our 18 years of development.
Wow, that's amazing. And by the way, I love this packaging a lot. It feels and looks premium. It's awesome.
It's actually it's a slightly old-fashioned, but I don't know if you remember, but binoculars and cameras used to come in cases like this. And nowadays, a camera comes in a nasty plastic canvasy bag or something really nasty, and it's very precious. This is very expensive, and it's a precious thing.
It delivers a proud ownership to our customers. Okay, it makes owning a product so enjoyable experience. That's one thing that I would definitely look at when I'm buying something.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and right now we're sitting inside your Dyson Tech Lab in China. So I was told this is our very first R&D lab in China, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So here comes the question. Why here in Shanghai, and what does it mean to Dyson's future products?
Well, there's a lot going on in China in developing new technology, voice recognition, this sort of thing. and you have very interesting ways of selling products through WeChat and JD.com and so on.
Yeah.
And we want to be right at the forefront of that. We want to understand how you buy things, how you use them. And we also want to be up to date with the kind of technology that's going on here in China. And we believe a lot of future technology, voice recognition is something that you and I have talked about, but other forms of technology will be developed here and not in the rest of the world.
That's right.
And we want to be part of that. We want to be part of that excitement. We want our engineers here to develop things in that sort of an environment.
So last month, you surprised everybody with the breaking news that Dyson is moving to electric automobiles by 2020. You and I briefly talked about this during our lunch, but to more entrepreneurs and tech enthusiasts out there watching this interview, what is the idea behind this move and what kind of goals you're trying to accomplish?
Well, it's quite a long time ago we were developing technology to capture diesel exhaust pollution. In fact, using cyclones that we have to look around, but these little chaps here, these cyclones that spin the dirt out by centrifugal force, we were using that to capture diesel exhaust very successfully, but no one wanted to buy it.
When was that?
Oh, this was in the early 90s.
Okay.
Really, from about 1990
It's like 20
to
years
2000. Yes, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But there was no legislation, and the vehicle manufacturers and vehicle users wouldn't buy it because there was a problem of disposing of the nasty collected soot, NOx and SOx and benzene and so on. So no one would take it up, so we had to drop it. But that desire to solve the problem stayed with us.
Okay.
And during that time, we started developing very efficient new technology electric motors, and you see some of them here. We also started developing batteries, both internally and externally at universities. New battery technology. You might be interested to know that a third of the power of an electric vehicle is taken up in the heating and cooling of the air inside the car, because you have to eject a huge amount of air out of the car all the time, and the new incoming air has to be treated to the correct temperature for the people inside the car. So a third of the power of an electric car. So, and
it's much more than people would have thought.
You're much more than anyone would have thought. And we have been developing products to heat and cool air and purify air. So if we put together battery technology, electric motor technology, we've developed an air treatment technology. You have most of the interesting components of an electric car.
Okay. So the rest you have to do is just making a beautiful box. And put everything in.
Yes,
it's a car, right?
That's all we have to do. But the point is that the industry is a great change point. Yeah. So the old industry was built around manufacturing engines and gearboxes, and then your box.
Yeah.
Now it's different. Batteries are very expensive and take up a huge proportion of the car.
It's heavy.
Electric motors are very heavy.
Yeah.
Electric motors are much smaller. Aerodynamics are key. And motor efficiency is key, and battery efficiency are key, and of course the treatment of the air. And these are all things that we've been working at for a number of years.
Okay. So we know that the automobile industry is at very fierce competition among those car giants, big names and new names like Tesla and Mercedes and BMW. We've talked about some technology that we have might be the competing edge for Dyson. But what else do you have that will set Dyson apart from the rest of the competition? The product positioning, what kind of audience are you particularly targeting at?
Well, we're also heavily into robotics. We make a robot and vision systems in robotics.
Yeah.
So I didn't mention these other technologies that we're involved in that also apply to a car, voice recognition, all this kind of thing. So we have a lot of those technologies, and I think because of that, we can make a different vehicle with different attributes and more efficient. And that's what we intend to do. I can't tell you any more than that because I'd be giving too much away. But we have a lot of research going on in our various research setups working on all this type of thing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and so on. So I think we can compete very well, and I hope produce a very interesting car, efficient car that people will like.
I believe technologically, it's going to be a very awesome car, but I'm trying to picture the car in my mind. What kind of car is it going to be? I mean, is it a car that for young people that can drive around and racing around the street, or is kind of family car that you can take your kids to school?
I'm not going to tell you.
What kind of car?
No, I'm not going to tell you because that's confidential. But I hope you'll buy one.
Okay. All right.
You can place your order as soon as
that
you like.
That gives some information. Yeah, I'm not going to push too hard on that one. Dyson has been very innovative throughout the years, but we have this call from the government years ago. It's called to encourage the entrepreneurship in China. And a lot of young people in China answered that call. I was one of them.
Good for you. Well done.
Yeah, I was one of them. But as a successful entrepreneur, what is your message to the young entrepreneurs out there, and especially for young engineers that are inspired by your company and your products?
Well, I always think that if you're an engineer and you have a good idea, you have to build lots and lots of prototypes to prove it. Yeah. So having an idea is not enough. You've got to make it work. And that'll take a long time because it's iterative development. You have to build prototype after prototype. So you've got to show great determination. And the problem often with a new idea is there are 1,001 reasons why it won't work, and then one reason why it might be a success. Yes. So a new idea is incredibly fragile, and so many people will tell you why it won't work. Yeah. But you've just got to hold your belief in that and listen intelligently when people tell you why it won't work, and then reject it logically if you can. Mm-hmm. So don't listen to other people. Don't listen to other people's advice. Mm-hmm. Just believe in your idea and carry it through.
So listen intelligently is the key.
Listening intelligently.
Okay.
Because if someone says it doesn't work, listen to why they say it won't work.
Okay.
Because when I developed...
But that requires experience, right?
Not really, not experience. It just requires thinking intelligently and being logical. Mm-hmm. And the wonderful thing is that things that work today mm-hmm. won't work tomorrow. So there's no expert out there at all, right. Anywhere. Mm-hmm. So the people who are going to succeed are the people who think intelligently and create intelligently.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I never give advice.
Well, it's a pretty good piece of good advice, you know. Listen intelligently is very, very difficult to do. Mm. People need to, I practiced a lot, okay? I learned a lot throughout the years. Something that I initially believed was true, turned out otherwise. Mm. So, yeah, it takes some time. Yes. But it's the key. But once you get there, once you're over that obstacle, you will know what's going to be helpful for your company and your career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And learning to ignore advice mm-hmm. is quite important.
That's right. You know, I started making video 5 years ago, and my very first video was 14 minutes long. And my roommate told me, nobody's going to watch that, it's way too long. And I said, no one cares about phones and products. And here we are, 5 years later, we'll become the largest, video makers in China. Yeah. So exactly. I believe that
ignore advice.
Yes, ignore advice. And believe what you believed in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As soon as you moved into the automobile business, are we still going to see these household appliances and electric products, or we're going to see only the new cars that are from Dyson?
No. You're going to see both. Okay. We're going to go on developing lots of other things besides cars. Mm-hmm. And actually what we find is that they all help with the car. Mm-hmm. And the important thing really is to be developing relevant technology. And it's the technology that interests me. Mm-hmm. So quite often we develop technology for which we have no application, and then an application develops. So we don't always develop technology to do something specific. It might be just developing it in general. And our electric motor development is very much like that, and indeed our battery development, and a new heater technology we're developing, for example. It has an application, but it can also, I believe, be used for lots of other things. We don't know what yet.
Yes. Well, that's all I have to ask for today.
Well,
thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you.
It's been an honor talking to you.
Another very successful entrepreneur. Well done.
Thank you very much. 商业是最伟大的艺术。从我第一次看到这句话的时候，就立刻将它收入到了我的人生字典当中。不仅仅是因为它准确地表达出了商业艺术在我心目当中崇高的地位，更是因为说这句话的人本身就是一位伟大的艺术家。这更让我相信，用商业的手段去让艺术造福人们的生活，是今天这个时代最高级且最不矫情的商业使命。而用自己的切身行动去实践这一使命的企业家，也就变成了我眼中最可爱的人。我羡慕 James Dyson 爵士，他用自己享受的方式正在改变着世界。在对话的时候，摆在桌上的产品仿佛不是一件一件精美的电器，而通往另一个时空的入口。每当这位老人双手触碰到它的时候，眼神中就会释放出一种迷人的光芒。对于 Dyson 爵士和他未来10年的新征程，我由衷地送出我的祝愿。在我看来，真正能够挑战他未酬壮志的，或许只有时间了。